We are halfway through Super Bowl week. How the hell's everybody feeling? Busy show today. We're 24 hours away from Sean Morash announcing his big show decision at 4 o'clock tomorrow, which I am looking forward to. We got a lot to get to today.
I know.
Talk some football, talk a little baseball, talk a little Tiki Barber life. But we got to start with something that I think stopped New York City last night and made everybody a tad nervous. It was a ho-hum night in basketball. The Nets suck. The Knicks are beating the crap out of the G League Memphis Grizzlies, who are banged up. And then all of a sudden, with a 20-point lead and 8 minutes to go, Tom Thibodeau said, you know what? I don't feel comfortable. I have Deuce. I've got the big Ragu. I got Josh Hart. I got Precious. I got Taj on the floor. But I got to make a couple changes. I'm up 20, 8 minutes to go. I make 2 changes. I'm going to bring iHeart back in, and I'm going to bring Jalen back in. And all of a sudden, that lead starts to go down just a little bit more. And then all of a sudden, Jalen slips, gets back up, and then Jalen Brunson clearly injures his ankle. And you could feel Madison Square Garden go silent, and you could feel this city go silent.
Yep.
Because as I told you last Friday, New York City made a decision. They moved Jalen Brunson up above Aaron Judge as the king of New York. So our king was laying on the ground in pain. And Knicks fans and New York City as a whole were like, ugh. Now, Knicks end up holding on. They win the game. They don't blow it. And it seems like this isn't going to be bad.
Yeah.
It seems like Jalen's going to be okay. But we don't honestly know because we don't know about Julius. We don't know about OG. And I can feel it as an IBO watching this moment that there were going to be Knicks fans that said, do you know who I blame for this? Not the basketball gods, not Evan being a mush, but I blame Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I've had this up and down feeling with Tom Thibodeau. I hate the dude. I love the dude. You're grinding these guys too much. The grinding's good for you. It's old school. There was a moment where it felt like he had no control over this roster. Remember Julius Randle from a couple of years ago? But by and large, I've started to buy into what he's been preaching, especially because the results have started to show. But there's something that you need in order to win an NBA championship. And ultimately, that's what we're talking about, right? If Julius Randle and OG Anunoby and now Jalen Brunson are hurt and too banged up to play worth any worth in the postseason, it's going to be because they got beat up. But to win a championship, look at the last ones. The Denver Nuggets, superstar, top 5 player, right? Golden State Warriors.
Look at you speaking my language.
I'm just saying, top 5 player.
Yes.
Milwaukee Bucks, top 5 player.
Yeah.
Hell, the MVP. The LA Lakers. He may be a little bit washed, and I know it was a pandemic year, but LeBron, top 5 player.
Kawhi Leonard,
right.
Top 5 player. Steph Curry,
Kawhi
Kevin
Leonard.
Durant.
You can keep going. The Knicks don't have one yet, but you know who was working his way towards being there? It was Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is not in the MVP conversation yet, but if he kept hitting 30-plus points a night and 8 assists and whatever, success ratio you want to throw out there for why he was helping the Knicks win, he was trending towards being that player. But Tom Thibodeau, who is stuck in his ways on, I'm only going to play these 7 guys, and maybe this 8th guy will get it's 35 seconds, right? I'm going to play these guys 43 minutes a night. I'm going to grind them because that's what we need to do to win. It's great until something like this happens, until Jalen Brunson gets hurt. And again, you're right, Evan. It's probably minor. But is he playing on Thursday against the Dallas Mavericks?
Do you blame Tom Thibodeau for him getting hurt last night? Should he not have been out there?
No, but I blame Tom Thibodeau for not doing what every other coach in the NBA does, which is help your stars be at their best for most of the seasons. Not every game, but most of the season. He grinds these dudes. And look, in his defense, maybe Julius Randle wants to go grind. Maybe Jalen Brunson wants to go grind.
Yes.
But sometimes, Evan, you have to protect those guys, your star who's trending towards being a top 5 player, which means that you can win a championship from themselves. And that's what I blame him for, not protecting his best players, I should add, from themselves. And it's frustrating. Because
but what do you mean? Should
so
he
long.
not have played last night when they're up 20 with 8 minutes to go? Because, by the way, if that's should he not have been reinserted?
But here's the thing. Forget last night. Wasn't this inevitable? Wasn't Julius Randle getting hurt, and now Jalen Brunson getting hurt. We've been talking about it, and I know they're not tops in the league in minutes, but they grind, man.
They play every night. So let me give you this. Jalen Brunson's 11th in minutes per game. Julius is like 16th. But unlike a few of those guys in the top 10 who play more minutes per game, like let's say a Kevin Durant, they play every single game. I acknowledge that. They play every single game. But is that why they got hurt?
No, I don't. I mean, I played sports.
Well, they get hurt because guess what? We live in a city of losers, and we're going to find ways for bad crap to happen. But is it just the basketball gods' fault, or is it Tom Thibodeau's fault?
Why is it that every week, and I don't want to be this is just the Knicks' bad luck, right? The basketball gods hate us.
Well, what else is it?
That's why they hurt the gods, not Thibodeau. The gods hurt Julius Randle. The gods hurt OG Anunoby. The gods now hurt Jalen Brunson. We can't have anything good. That's what the Knicks fan is thinking. But in the back of my mind, I can't help but say, Thibs, man, like, protect your guys from themselves.
What do you want them to do? What do you want them to wrap them up in bubble wrap?
You have been so dominant. It's like when you're riding a winning streak and you're like, yeah, money, daddy can't lose, and you just keep going after it. 16-3.
I get the play
in the OG era. 16-3.
Yeah.
You don't got to be a gavone and take every win.
Well, okay,
so if this was falling away from you, I'm just saying, if it was falling away from you, and again, it was last night was ugly, and then it was great. No, first it was great, and then it was ugly, and then it was like, all right, salvage, and Dante comes in and saves the day, and it's a good win. But is it really? Because you lost Jalen Brunson.
But why did they lose Jalen Brunson? Like, I hate to be the guy that says it's just bad luck and it's the basketball gods and woe is me. But guess what? A lot of times when guys get hurt, that's the only answer I could come up with.
Bad luck with your three best players?
Dude, I'm sorry. Like, I can't blame Tom Thibodeau for this.
One, maybe it's bad luck. Two, possibly it's a coincidence. Three, it's got to be something else.
Well, what is it?
It's the grind,
man. So
you
want Tom Thibodeau to basically take his players and wrap them in bubble wrap?
No,
like,
not
there's
wrap
games
them in
to
bubble
be won.
Not wrap them in bubble wrap.
Then do what?
But understand that it is not about being 55 and whatever the numbers work out to be.
I agree with that.
It's not about that.
You're playing the long game.
You have to play the long game because that's what it feels like the Knicks are on the verge of finally being able to do. Play the long game. It's not like, oh, we got to grind. Oh, God, we fall into the 8th seed. Oh, God, we got to play this play-in term. Oh, God. The Knicks feel like they're not fully past it, but they're inching past that.
Yeah.
Right? That they are a top 4 team in the East, and that all they need to do is win the games that they're supposed to win, play hard and steal some others that maybe they shouldn't, get to the postseason, be playing their best basketball, and then go ball.
Yeah.
And right now, it feels like all they're doing is just grinding, and then eventually someone gets hurt.
So last night, and I'm watching this game because I was disgusted about what I was watching in Brooklyn on a lot of levels. The Knicks are beating the ass of the Memphis Grizzlies, and rightfully so. Yeah. The Memphis Grizzlies are playing 3 NBA players. Literally, That's what they had on the floor, and the Knicks are whipping their ass all night long. And then all of a sudden, the lead gets cut to 20 with 8 minutes to go. And when they come back from commercial break, much like everybody else who's watching on TV, we're barely paying attention to the game. We're paying attention to the great tributes to Mike Breen and Walt Clyde Frazier, who, by the way, I have the ultimate respect for. Congratulations to Mike Breen. Congratulations to Walt Clyde Frazier.
Quarter century. Amazing.
And here's the ultimate compliment I'll give both gentlemen. I can't stand the team you call, but I've never had an issue with you. And you never anger me because you're such professionals and you do a great job.
And entertaining.
And they're damn entertaining. So as they're being celebrated, Jalen rechecks in. Now, I get it. The Grizzlies have no NBA players. But if he doesn't recheck in then, the Grizzlies still make a run even with Jalen on the floor. They get it to 8. That's when Jalen gets hurt. At what point are you going to say, hey, you know what? Let's not F around anymore.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we win this game. Let's put our best player in. Like, at some point,
but
you put your foot on them and you beat them.
I don't want to be revisionist. I don't. But did it help The answer is no.
Did it help they won the game?
I know, but they didn't win the game because Jalen Brunson.
Not at all.
He get hurt. They won the game because Dante DiVincenzo, who has a title, in his early days and basically rode the bench, but learned from great people, including out in Golden State. He comes here because he wants to be here. He wants to be in the system, and he's thriving in the role.
The big Ragu hit big shots last night. Nothing but love for Ragu. Yes,
and that's why they won. And it wasn't because Jalen Brunson came back into the game.
You're right, but in the moment, what are you supposed to do? Like, I know you hate this as a former athlete, but I'll be honest with you. The Knick injuries, it's just bad luck. I know that sucks. And you almost look at the sky and say, why me? Why us? By the way, Knick fans, I can relate to you on that.
But how do you
so many ways I can relate to you on that. But it's nobody's fault.
But luck is...
It wasn't Tom Thibodeau's fault.
To me, luck is what... I can't even describe luck.
But
we had this conversation about my kid, right? And how she said, "Oh, it's my lucky shoes." It's not lucky shoes.
Why did Jalen Brunson get hurt last night?
You're successful because you work your ass off.
Why did Jalen Brunson get hurt last night, Teak?
The Knicks are successful because they work their asses off.
I agree.
But they get fatigued and they get hurt because they also work their asses off.
Did he get hurt because he works his ass off?
I don't know.
You tell me. I mean, you're the athlete. Did he turn his ankle because he plays a lot?
Look, I never played a sport where I had to play every day. We played once a week, and trust me, by Thursday of week 14, it's like, all right, coach, you want me to give it to you on Sunday, or do you want it on Thursday? And he had chose for Sunday, so Sunday is when I went hard. And so I don't know what the physicality of playing basketball and jumping and changing directions and crossing over and playing defense. All those, I don't know the stresses that it puts on your body, but I know that if you do it. Anything for that many days in a row. I think about it now, just me working out. If I work out and squat 3 or 4 days in a row, my knees start to hurt, man. My ankles start to get sore. I got to sit down, get a massage, deep tissue, right? All those things, hand and stone come my way, right? All that stuff is about taking care of your body, but eventually your body just fatigues. Right? You need
So what do you want? You want maintenance days? Are we going to call you maintenance day, Tiki?
Yeah.
Really?
The Denver Nuggets do that.
Oh, come on.
The Golden State Warriors do that.
Jalen Brunson doesn't want to do
it. Save your player.
He got an all-star break in a
themselves.
week and a half. He'll maintenance for a week while he plays in that exhibition.
Okay. Is he even playing in the game now?
We'll see.
Because he got hurt. Right? Is Julius playing in the game? No, he's definitely not. Right? So, you have to. It's part of the job, protecting your players from themselves. And I get and I love what Thibs is doing. And while it's happening, you're like, hell yeah, this is so old school. Play every damn day. Do it that way. But eventually when something like this happens, it's hard for me to chalk it up to luck.
I think that Tom Thibodeau is a coach I look at, and I wonder, come playoff time, can he win the big one? I think that is a fair critique of him. And for every Knick fan that likes to shoot down Glenn Rivers, you can easily look at Tom Thibodeau's postseason resume and say, what about him?
Yeah.
So if we're talking big picture, postseason adjustments, I may be with you. But the one area of Tom Thibodeau's slander that I am going to stand up against, and little did I know you would be the guy I'm standing up against to it, is this idea that's been out there for a while that he grinds his guys down, he plays them too many big minutes, and anytime someone gets hurt, it's his fault. I can't go down that road. Last night, Tom Thibodeau's coaching a basketball game, okay? And with 8 minutes to go up by 20, he wants to make sure he wins that basketball game. And so his best player's on the floor.
At the expense of losing your...
You don't know he was going to get hurt, though.
At the expense of your best player?
So should he not have played? Should he not have been reinserted? What are the rules around this
You're
now?
Up 20.
So what? If it's 10, you can bring him back in?
I don't... Does it matter that much? What happens if they lose this game last night?
We'd be killing them today.
Would we?
Yeah, they lost to a G League team.
Would we be killing them?
Yes.
They also lost to a 500 Laker team, which is not very good. But they got very rested because LeBron and AD took the night off against Boston and still lost that game.
It's very different. If they blew that game last night against the Memphis Grizzlies, who were playing 3 NBA players, and they had a 27-point lead, we'd be killing them.
But it's basketball, man. It's an 82-game season.
But what's the answer to it? How do you make the decisions on when not to play a guy? Jalen Brunson wasn't hurt until he was hurt. I know that's a simple statement, but it's true. He didn't get hurt till he got hurt. And it happens. And it sucks. And seriously, for anyone who thinks I'm just a Knick hater, I don't want guys getting hurt. I wasn't sitting there last night rooting for that. And I also know that sometimes injuries just suck and they just happen. And there's no answer for why. And last night when Jalen Brunson went down, there's no answer for why. There's no answer for why Julius Randle injured his shoulder. The only thing you could do is hope to the heavens, not the hell, hope to the basketball heavens that they'll be okay because you're going nowhere without them.
Yeah.
But to pin this on the coach, it's not fair.
Well, whose fault is it then?
Nobody's.
It's luck. It's the perspiration that was on the court that made him slip and lose his balance and unstable his ankle. So when he fell and twisted it, he's out for however long he's going to be out. Whose fault is it?
Why does it have to be someone's fault? Why can't it just suck? Like literally, sometimes things happen in this world and we can't blame anybody. It just happens. And I hope to God, for you guys' sake, he's okay. And he only misses a day or two or a game or two. Mm-hmm. Now, here's where I will agree with you, by the way, on missing a game or two. I don't give a rat's ass how good Jalen Brunson thinks his ankle feels. I don't care how excited he is to promote his new podcast with Josh Hart, Roommates, that comes out tomorrow. I don't care.
Or play in the game against the Dallas Mavericks.
Which I get. You want to
he got drafted to and started.
You want to stick it to your former team. And trust me, after last night, I think I want to see you guys stick it to them. With that said, I'll agree with you on this. You save him from himself tomorrow night. He don't play tomorrow night. And if that's a schedule loss, that's a schedule loss. That's where I will say I agree with you because he is hurt now. Mm-hmm. And you've got to be smart. And maybe the smart approach is, hey, Jalen, you're not playing to the All-Star break. And maybe the smart approach is, as much as this will hurt him, you tell him you're not playing in the All-Star game, period. And I know that would hurt. And I know that would suck. But yes, that's where I would say I'm going to protect him from himself. But he wasn't hurt until he was hurt.
Yes.
And I can't, as an NBA fan, say, well, you got to protect him from the possibility he's going to get hurt.
You got to rest your guys. It could have happened any day. And again, I'm not killing Tom Thibodeau here, but I am saying this is something that a lot of fans have been talking about for a while.
They have. Now,
a lot of analysts have been talking about for a while.
Now,
the grind, the lack of maintenance.
They're wrong,
days.
by the way. They could talk about it all day. Yeah, I think the Thibodeau slander has been misguided for a while now. It's based on an old reputation. Like, I just don't think it's fair. Now, Loogie, I know this is uncomfortable for you because it's rare that I'm the face with Knicks fans, that I'm on their side. Mm-hmm. And I know siding with me is never something that makes you feel comfortable. Let's go Knicks.
Yeah, no, I'm uncomfortable.
So you want to just say I'm wrong in that Tom Thibodeau is an evil bastard?
I actually agree with Evan on this because I think what's turned the Knicks around is having that winning culture. I don't want to create a culture here where there's maintenance days, where guys are taking time off in the fourth quarter. They don't want to play. What I love about this team, I think what Knicks fans love about this team.
But I don't think you need to worry about that. They're always going to want to play.
The NBA has a lot of teams where there's guys that don't want to play, including the Lakers, the team you just brought up.
The Knicks. I'm talking about Jalen Brunson.
But if you create that atmosphere,
Julius Randle.
Yeah, but if you create an atmosphere,
always want to play. OG, he's gonna want to play. Why? Because OG's trying to get paid.
So let him play. Is my thing. Win the games because the Knicks are not in a position right now. They have to get the best seed possible. They have to keep the train rolling. They have to win games. If a guy gets hurt, he gets hurt.
And then they get to the postseason, and then they run out of gas.
I understand that, but you know what? Maybe get some more reinforcements here.
We've seen this. We've seen this. Remember Atlanta? Right? We've seen this.
Yeah, they didn't have the roster that they have now in that Atlanta.
Well, that's the thing. Why did they lose that series? Do you think they lost that series because they got run to the ground? If that's your opinion, I respect it. But is that what you think happened?
I don't want to say what the other alternative is, which is that they were so outcoached that it was embarrassing.
Different story, by the way. By the way, that is a different. If we're going to talk about Tom Thibodeau in the playoffs and what kind of coach he is, based on adjustments, based on being outcoached by Spo last year or even 3 years earlier, that's different. And by the way, on that, I'm skeptical of Tom Thibodeau. But in terms of the minutes police that has existed since this man got the job, and you're right now like the sheriff.
Well, the only issue is that the one example we can use is Julius Randle, because he's been here for the longest time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that playoff series against the Atlanta Hawks was DeAndre Hunter, Wahoo, just shutting his ass down.
Clint Capella.
And Clint Capella disrupting him in the paint. Or was it just playoff Julius? Like, I don't know.
Well.
And so, I know there is not a playoff Brunson. And it's not in a negative. That is. The playoff Brunson is exactly what the regular season Brunson is. So we don't know if it's just his grinding nature that caused the Knicks to short circuit, or is he just doesn't have the players.
I'll tell you the other thing, though, and I think this is damn important. I think winning games in the regular season matters. I think where you're seated in this Eastern Conference matters.
As long as you stay healthy.
I get that, but you need to balance the two things.
It's the three best players on this
what
team
does
are
that
hurt.
mean? Does it mean Brunson shouldn't have played last night?
It doesn't mean anything. It just means that their three best players are hurt.
They are.
And so, there's accountability for these things. You see it in the NFL all the time. Oh, you led the team. You led the league in IRs. Guess what? The head of training gets fired. It just happens. You see it in baseball, right? You led the league in days missed by the whatever metric you want to use in baseball. Their athletic training staff gets fired. There has to be an accountability somewhere. Your three best players midway through the season are all hurt right now. Somebody's got to be accountable for that.
We'll get your calls next. There are a lot of Knicks fans that like to blame the head coach.